Turn 1 Ragioli, turn 2 something. Keep. We can Disrupting Shoal a 1-drop on their side. Go Power Ragavan. Well, I think I'm going to Disrupting Shoal and Aether Vial because I have the feeling if I don't Disrupting Shoal this, I'm never going to get a chance to Disrupting Shoal or Spell Snare something again. I'm going to play another body to hit my opponent in the face. Look at me, opponent. I am the Merfolk player now. Please don't cast anything. This. Oh, dang it. What did they reveal? Lord of Atlantis. Let's see. Do I think they will trade the Silvergill Mentor with a Harbinger? Probably not. This Harbinger's likely representing more more for them than it is for me. Carry on. To play a Lord, opponent. Put a Lord onto the battlefield. What's the worst that could happen? Aim. So Opponent casts a Lord. Am I responding? Tide Shaper. Alright, so then this comes down. I can't remember if they target or not off of this. Ooh. That's a Magic the Gathering card. Get some damage in. Play a Psychic Frog. Go. They have Sink into Stupor in their deck, so I have to be a little bit careful of that. Harbinger of their own. What a time to be alive. I think I'm just throwing Ragavan in at this point. Like, what if I just attack with everything? Don't jump the frog. Yeah. Okay. I like this attack. If they want to throw something in front of the frog, sure. Get bodies off the board. Want to trade with the Ragavan, sure. Go ahead. Lord of Atlantis, 3 unknowns. Lord of Atlantis, 2 unknowns. Is there any world I want a Shieldred's Edict in response to this? Probably. Gonna be like dead going forward anyway. If I respond, then they don't get as much damage in here, and like I know they're putting in a 2-drop. Responded to that. God. Chill, opponent. Chill. All right. So if I Fatal Push Lord of Atlantis, Let's say discard Frog, discard Subtlety to Riddler, Warp Riddler, draw 2. Frog's a 3. I'm getting in for at least 6. If I Fatal Push the Lord, they've got... Guess I could sack a Hex Catcher. That's 3, 7, 8, 9. 3, 7, 8, 9. So I'm not dead on the crackback. Is there any way I can win without? If I attack for 3, put them down to 8, hold back Frog. No, it doesn't really matter while they have the Aether Vial. So discard Frog, discard Subtlety, Warp Riddler. Is there any merit to attacking on the ground with the Frog? They triple block. I Fatal Push the Lord, discard the Disrupting Shoal. Do I need to fly this Frog? This is getting through. Do I think they're going to block? Surely not, right? But if they do, that's fantastic for me. So I think I want to give them the chance to block. Yeah, they don't, so I Fatal Push. Lord. And discard Disrupting Shoal because it's not doing anything for me. Okay, don't rip a Lord off the top. Big bucks, no Lord. Big bucks, no Lord. I guess Lord doesn't even kill me, does it? So it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So no, I'm not dead to a Lord. I have a Lethal Frog plus this Sink. They take Vial up to 3. I don't know what they could have, but I'm sure I'm going to find out very quickly. Nice. Merfolk. I think I've played against Merfolk like 4 times in the last, maybe the last like 3 weeks. Which I'm pretty sure is more than I've seen Merfolk the previous, like, I don't know how many years combined. I have, like, nothing for this matchup. Actual nothing for this. Part of me is considering bringing in Harbinger because Harbinger shuts down like their Cavern of Souls. Their Cavern of Souls and their Mutavaults. Maybe that's not bad. Also buffs Namor. I'm sure there's some stuff that I could board it in for. All right, opponent, let me shoal a vial again. Master of the Pearl Trident. Or like Master of the Get Spell Snared. Right? Am I right, guys? You see what I did there? I was like, haha. Master of the Spell Snare. You guys are no fun. That was A-tier humor. Picked Tide Shaper. That's fine. In there with Frog. Kind of want to discard something, but I really don't know what to discard here. I'll just take my one. See what opponent wants to do. Second Tide Shaper. We'll attempt to fight over this one. I would like my red mana. Maybe they just, yeah, fire up Mutavault. Okay. So now we're definitely getting rid of a Disrupting Shoal. I don't think I am. I think I'm saving. I like everything that's in my hand right now. And I kind of feel like if I win this game, it's going to be because I just like overwhelmed my opponent with cards. Not I necessarily raced. And having this extra shoal to pitch the first shoal on a 2-drop means I can save my counter spell in case I get into like a counter war. Good subtlety, this. Probably fine. Go for subtlety. If they go for like flare of denial, I can let the flare go and disrupting shoal the master. Put the Master of the Pearl Trident on top. Dismember. Remember, target my subtlety. A little surprised by that. Guess if your goal is just to like aggro damage in here. I want to dash Ragavan. Fine. I Master the Pearl Trident. That. Conveniently, Master of the Pearl Trident specifies Merfolk you control, so it does not affect my opponent's Mutavault and Tideshaper. If this was Lord of Atlantis, I would not cast it, because I cannot afford to give their stuff Island Walk. Now I'm fighting pretty aggressively over any fish that gets put on the stack. Three cards. We do not know any of them. Get a black source in case I draw like a fatal push. Into stupor my frog. They should have waited until after I fetched, if that was their plan. Like, I understand that counterspell is a consideration, but if I had just, like, not gotten a black source, if I gotten, like, a red-blue Surveil land, and then you bounce the frog, I can't replay it without using my treasure token. That seems a little bit better. Attacking with the master. I think I can hold that back. Like, that one I will not be playing out. Why not bounce his creature to cast it? Bounce his creature with what? What would I be bouncing his creature with? And how would I cast it? Sink his master. Oh, why didn't he bounce his master so he could cast his sinker or cast his master? Probably doesn't matter a whole lot right here, honestly. Namor on Namor violence. We're both like really awful Namor players, apparently, since neither of us like care to actually see the Namor. Namor's hidden somewhere in the decks. But managed to get there. Get to see our next card. Dogfish, I think I have played 4 Namor mirrors so far. Not today, but in general. And I believe I've won all 4 of them. So at the moment, I'm the Namor king. Which means I'm 100% about to get paired into like 3 straight Namor players that are going to absolutely wreck my entire existence. Be your Namor pilot of the format. The Namor player who is not filling their deck with a bunch of weird cards to enable Namor. What do we got for round 2? Coin Man, 1863. Wonder if that was a good year for coins. Always a winning strategy. Don't play bad cards to make your good cards better. Try to tell people and they don't listen. Faithless Looting. So are we Reanimator? Love that Disrupting Shoal is a modern card right now. I had to buy a couple to finish my playset explicitly for this deck. Faithless Looting number 2. Okay. Used to play Shoal when I first got into Modern, had Kitchen Table Fish, used to play that card and counterbalance in my Merfolk list. That's pretty sick, not gonna lie. Alright. Opponent is down some Magic the Gathering cards. You know what? I'm gonna keep second Frog here. That way I've got not only an extra pitch card if I need to pitch a frog to a Disrupting Shoal, but I can also have a backup frog if they just go for like a Fatal Push or something. Persist, target Archon of Cruelty. So I think I shoal off of a shoal here, so that if they have a Fatal Push, I can still frog. How does he do it? This does get a little bit awkward if they have another Persist, though. I think I'm still supposed to just jam Frog. It's if they have Oculus or they have Unearth, this is really good. If they have exactly another Persist, then this is bad. They have third copy of Fatal Push. Have Unearth. I'm going to go ahead and Fatal Push right now while they don't have Spell Pierce up. Unearth again. Have no good attacks is what you're telling me. All right, go ahead. Hopefully they're trying to decide on like discarding an Oculus versus playing it. This target Archon. Well, I don't want that to resolve. Come on, Fatal Push. Fatal Push or Shieldred's Edict. Flashback looting number 2. You got it. Be a really good turn for that Fatal Push and or Shieldred's Edict. Or just third land. All right. This was a 2-land keep, right? Give me the third persist. I really didn't have Unearth there in their potential keep wheelhouse. I just have to go ahead and fatal push this so they don't spell snare or spell pierce me. I just kind of figured if they'd already looting, like if they had seen one of those or that unearth off of one of the lootings, I figured they would have discarded it because they never had a target for it. I wouldn't think that they would just hold on to it, but it sees me. Okay. Would you like to take Disrupting Shoal? Well, eventually one of us is going to do something worth something. Possibly. All right, so they found Oculus to just Oculus, I subtlety, they Oculus again. Unless we can find a fatal push here. Fatal push this frog, draw into their Oculus. Oh, right on time. Might as well just play the Namor right. Maybe hit a fatal push next turn, get to suicide in the Ragavan and take out the Oculus. Well, I sign your Tassigers. Why don't you just get the artist to sign your Tassigers? They're like every event. This game would have been over like 10 turns ago if we could have just found the third land. Rough. Hmm. All right, good hands only. Feels pretty bad not having like Alt C's in this deck. Yep. Take my frog. I dare you. I dare you to take my frog. Do it, you coward. Take my Quantum Riddler. So you've got removal spell for the frog, or you have... Gotta be just like removal spell for the frog, right? Have the full art one, has the least amount of shirt. That how you're deciding your purchases? Let's see his Inquisition push. Hey. Land. Opponent's had a pretty good rollout so far. Oculus Frog. Other Thoughtseize. Sure. Alright. I'll keep that because I can Disrupting Shoal hard cast to counter an Unearth. Remember when looting was banned? I do. I do in fact remember. Alright, now are they trying to find more copies of Hand Disruption? Double Archon in the yard. You got it. Take your pick. Unearth, targeting abhorrent Oculus. Counterspell. Mystical Dispute. Must Disrupting Shoal. Okay, deck. Something good? Something good in the neighborhood? My brother in Christ. All 4 Thoughtseizes plus an Inquisition. My God. Find me something to do. I guess I say find me something to do. I had 2 frogs in the start, but they had triple Hand Disruption in their opener. Plus a Fatal Push. And removal, right? Like, I think if one of those pieces is missing there, we get a frog on board or we get to do something, but Not with everything present. Also think I would have liked to have a surgical extraction or two in the sideboard. Play out the frog. I don't know if I'm going to Disrupting Shoal of Solitude, but might. Shadowy Backstreet Inquisition. What plays Shadowy Backstreet Inquisition? Counterspell. I have literal no idea what I'm up against. I don't know if anybody has... Is this just Goryos? But they're running some number of Inquisition for whatever reason? Been Fatal Push staring down a Psychic Frog. If this isn't Goryo's, I'm clueless. I am most definitely clueless. Inquisition, Thoughtseize, double Fatal Push, Spell Snare, 3 Surveil lands, another Thoughtseize. Am I just like doing the frog thing wrong? Am I supposed to be just going overloaded with the hand disruption? Is that the cool thing to do? Did I miss the memo? The Ragavan. The Namor. I'm just gonna play out second Ragavan. Like, we down to 1 card in hand. No Solitude. Be kind of wild for them to play Solitude in a deck with more than likely like 6 hand disruption spells and Fatal Push and Spell Snare and Frog, and I have no idea what the hell's going on. I don't have the slightest clue what this is. Maybe like Esper flow state frog. That's something. I want spell bomb. Not really. So Esper frog, whole lot of hand disruption. That's all we know. No land 7, no land 6. Show me the Thoughtseize. God, no Thoughtseize. No, no. I was playing around it so well. It's like disguising it to go for the mystical dispute. Just play a frog. It was so good. Play a frog, let me untap and have counter spell. Got it. So let's see. Last game, I had 4 Thoughtseizes. At least 1 Inquisition cast against me. Or last match. I think I might be close to setting a record for most number of Thoughtseizes and Inquisitions cast against in like a 2-match stretch. For me personally, I'm sure there's some people that have played against like back-to-back Boomer Jund in like 2015. They just had like 12 cast against them, consecutive matches. It's also super weird to see them with this much white mana when I have yet to see a white spell get cast. Like, what is all of this white mana for? Probably got like 4 mystical disputes in hand, but fight through them eventually. Cast Wrath of Skies, just like Demir Frog splash Wrath of Skies. Another one. I'm pretty sure they don't know about Spell Snare. Maybe they do. Might know both. I feel like this is where I find out that they're actually on Solitude. Okay, so they play Solitude. We subtlety the Solitude. They play second Solitude evoked from hand. Exile the Frog. We untap, find a Quantum Riddler, warp it. I don't know what we find off that, like counter spell plus something. Untap and find a Namor. Also, my tinfoil hat theory is true again. I cut the second Kaito and run into a Solitude matchup. So they Solitude evoke Solitude. Instead of just casting Solitude. Sure. You got like Ephemerate in your deck. At least I'll find out before game 3. I have no idea what kind of a 75 I'm up against here. Spell Snares, like 6 pieces of hand disruption, Frog, and then Solitude Ephemerate. It just seems like so much going on. Right, I'm gonna go for casting this Harbinger. It doesn't resolve. Gonna assume game's over. If it does, maybe we'll get to see a little bit more of their deck. They're gonna Solitude in response to my Harbinger. Sure. Could have another Ephemerate in hand. So game 1, they saw like 5 pieces of hand disruption, Frog, Snare. Game 2, Hand Disruption Snare, Solitude's Ephemerate. Dude, Chad Gaming indeed. I want it to make sense. Like, I don't know if Spell Snare is worth it against them. Because I've seen Frog, yes, but I've also seen Spell Snare, Fatal Push, Thoughtseize, Inquisition, Solitude, Ephemerate. But if I'm boarding out Spell Snare, like, what am I playing over it? Force a Negation into the Solitude Quantum Riddler deck? Also, I'm fairly sure for me personally, I wouldn't touch Inquisition before running like 4 copies of Thoughtseize and 4 copies of Dreams of Steel and Oil. Because like Quantum Riddler is still a thing. Solitude's still a thing. Scion of Draco's still a thing. And all these are like way more problematic than the 3 or less drop stuff. How do you fit Solitude in this deck? Seem like Solitude exactly, and like no other white cards. Solitude and Ephemerate, and that's it. Yeah, go crazy. Did I see pending last game? Here's another frog for it. Oh, that's right. They pending my Ragavan call. Yeah! Just jam frogs till they die. I just jammed my first 2 matches with a variation of the blue-red Namor list from yesterday. I'm sold on Namor. Namor is pretty hot. I do think Namor is exponentially better against the unfair stuff than the fair stuff, but it does seem like if you get a Namor down against anything unfair, because of Force Negation, if you get Namor down against something unfair and have access to Force Negation, it's pretty solid. Okay. Is Grixis just outperforming blue-black with Namor so far? I don't know if I would call it outperforming. It's been really good. Like, they both definitely have very noticeable strengths and weaknesses, which is cool. See what you got. Got Mardu energy. And with the hey look, another Thoughtseize matchup. They're just gonna go Pride Ragavan, Pride second Pride, Pride nothing. Just Pride hold up discharge. Namor with Scepter counterspell sounds hot. Bad but hot. Oh, because you still get the Namor triggers because it's a copy and it's got the pips. Interesting. Voice of Victory. Opponent puts Voice of Victory on top. See if they're going to attack with this Ocelot. Do. Feel like we can find room for one Commandeer. You find room for Commandeer and get back to me. I personally, have no interest in playing Commandeer. So until someone else proves to me that card is at all worth it, I will not be registering Commandeer. Somebody else is more than welcome to put their money where their mouth is, or donate for a league and we'll play Commandeer. If you believe the card is good and has merit and is worthwhile, put your money where your mouth is. I'll keep that on top. I think they've got enough 2-drops to where I'd be fairly happy drawing that. Maybe not that many 2-drops. Add suggestions are always plentiful. Cut suggestions are much harder. Nobody ever brings up cut suggestions. Like, it is 100%, heck yeah. It is 100% here. Play my pet card. This card's so good. It breaks modern, blah, 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 blah. Nobody ever says, like, you should play it over X. Or, I think it's better than Y because of this. It's just play it. Just put it in your deck. Why haven't you put it in your deck yet? All right, so see if opponent wants to trade Ragavans. They do. So we get to hardcast a Quantum Riddler. Draw the cards. Boo. Boo, Disrupting Shoal, boo. Can I trade you ticks? You can trade ticks, but there will be an upcharge. All right, so we've got Ragavan plus Bombardment. Force Negation's pretty good. I think... What am I worried about here? A Johnny A Johnny, another Pyromancer. What's on top of my library? If it's a land, I probably just like attack with Quantum Riddler. We'll push. I will just keep that on top and pass. I can hard cast a Shoal on an Ajani. I can pitch, or I can force negation any non-creature spell. I can Disrupting Shoal on something cheaper. Heck yeah. Shoal kind of fine at this point, just expensive hard casting versus Boros. I agree. Like, I think it scales pretty well in a matchup like this. There's like, in that game, it felt like there was a slight little awkward moment where Disrupting Shoal, like, I don't have a lot of good fours. So if they had a Legend of Roku, they could cast it where I couldn't Shoal it, but then drew the force negation, so that kind of covered that. Bring in Fire Magic, bring in Harbingers because they're a 3-color deck. Ocelot Pride. Okay. Second copy of Namor's. Not horrible. It's kind of like a free pitch to the subtlety. I don't know why everybody does this pre-combat. Like, if I have interaction for the Voice of Victory, I'm gonna use it pre-combat. Or if I have interaction for the Ocelot Pride, I'm gonna use it in response to the Voice of Victory. And if I don't, like, let's say I've got Stern Scolding plus Fatal Push, and you go for Voice of Victory. Like, I have to make a decision, yes, but if you just attack with the Ocelot, I'm so much more likely to burn my Fatal Push on the Ocelot Pride, and you just get to free resolve the Voice of Victory. But everybody goes for like pre-combat Voice of Victory, thinking like I can't do anything then. I don't know why that is. Why it's just like, oh, Voice of Victory, you can't respond. But like, if I have a counter spell, I'm countering the Voice of Victory anyway, so it doesn't matter if you wait until post-combat. But if I don't have a counter spell, if I have a removal spell, then like attacking with the Pride first, if I use it, whatever. But there's a chance I don't use it. Why the fuck is this in your deck? Basically, you're calling Boros players bird brains. If they're bringing in High Noon against me, then yes. Yes, I am. Do I want Frog? And before 7-mana Lava Axe ends up doing us in. Well, fair. That's the plan all along. This is just an expensive lightning axe for a frog. All right. What? I'm probably not playing Namor. So I think it's better if I just go Warp Riddler. Let's say I discard Counterspell Namor, Warp Riddler. What we find. I could also attack first and see if I find or happen to find a Fatal Push. But push is like a little bit awkward because I can't use it until my next turn. But obviously it would be good on my next turn, so we're going to look for it. Thing. All right. F6. It can hit me for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Potentially more with the arena. Ocelot Pride, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they do get City's Blessing off of this. Means they're making a bajillion tokens on the end step. This is like one of those moments that all I can think about is this High Noon looks halfway okay at the moment, and it's only because of like this rollout. But obviously we're never going to be in a spot where that's an acceptable situation for our opponent. Like they're never going to say, oh, High Noon was bad, I shouldn't bring in High Noon. This is a Purge. Raven Charm. Like here, this Raven Charm is oddly useful with this High Noon, because if I spell snare this, I can't play another spell. I can't play a spell on their turn. So I'm just like staring down the board, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, plus a potential High Noon activation. All right. High Noon, Voice of Victory energy. High Noon, Modern Staple, and All-Star. Like, here's this card that works really, really well in your deck that's already just doing the stuff that works really, really well. Like, Windmill Slam it. Like, all right, I got High Noon. How do you beat that? Oh, by the way, Guide, Pride, Voice of Victory, Thraben Charm. I'm probably just going to go ahead and get a basic Swamp here and Fatal Push. So if I do happen to draw into my Harbinger, I can have that out of the way. Or do I want to save this Fatal Push for something better than Ocelot Pride? I don't hate that. Son of a... Clockwork, I tells you. Clockwork. Don't throw away your plan. You know what's going to happen if you throw away your plan. Bad things, that's what. Ocelot Pride, number 2. Ragavan. Okay. Blue card off the top. Not a blue card. I really wanted a blue card to be able to Harbinger and hold up Force for Thraben Charm. But now I think that it's just pass, hold back Frog. Godless Shrine. Voice of Victory. Let's go Fatal Push. Ragavan. It's fetch first. Fatal Push, Ragavan, Fatal Push, and Ocelot Pride. Right. Or I guess I just save this and Fatal Push the voice. That is fine. All right, come on. Blue card. Blue card. Thank you. So now we go Fatal Push, Voice of Victory, Scalding Tarn, get Island, play Harbinger, pass. No reason to throw a frog in. Well, I was kind of forgetting about the vexing bubble. It's okay. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. I believe. You're going to have to sack this vexing bubble eventually because they got nothing going on. Ah, see? Blue card. Blue card good. Blue card real good. Don't doubt me. Don't doubt my ball knowledge. This is the same opponent that brought in High Noon against us. How scared are we? I can attack with Frog, discard 3. I'm definitely discarding four spell snare. Oh, never mind. Blue card was the answer. Y'all just didn't want to admit it. Blue card was the best thing we could draw. Oh, but they have Vexing Bobble. Ooh. All right, round 5. What do we got? You haven't lived until you packed into your own bauble. Can confirm, I don't think I've done that before. In your win rate kind of absurd with Namor at the moment. I think this is my 5th league with Namor. No, 6th league with Namor. 4-1, 4-1, 3-2, 3-2. I can't remember the 5th one. And then we're currently 3-1 in this league. I'm going to go crazy if I get thought seized one more time in this league. Just 4-1 the last league. Yeah, 4-1 the first Namor league I played that I posted on YouTube. 4-1 the last one. We played 3 Namor leagues yesterday. Went 3-2 with Demir. 3-2 with the second Is It League. And I don't remember the first Is It League, what we did. So 4-1, 4-1, 3-2, 3-2, unknown, and then at least 3 wins this one. Dash Ragavan. That's what 4, 8-2, 14-6, 17-7 right now with an unknown league. and 7 with an unknown league. Another Blink opponent. Subtlety this. Maybe they want to keep it on top and let me cast it. They do put Frog on top. I kind of feel like nobody, myself included, thinks about subtlety into the dashed Ragavan. Because the Boros opponent did the same thing where they put Champion or Voice of Victory on top, and then I dashed Ragavan and they shuffled it away. I mean, I guess it's just like, if I don't do it, you get a frog. If I do dash the Ragavan, then you just shuffle it away. Faithful Mending can stay in exile, so this is Goryo's, not Blank. Good to know. Quantum Riddler. Fortunately, does resolve. The Consign. Good draw. We'll keep chucking away with our little ravioli here. Little ravioli with cheese. Try to surveil something else kind of dead to the top. Gonna be like an Atraxa. Blue to Delta. We go land Quantum Riddler. We do have Shieldred's Edict. I don't think it really matters if we wait until the trigger resolves or not. I would approach it totally different, letting the rag hit, then surveil to set up the draw, which is a reasonable approach as well. It kind of comes down to like, if you're playing things that your opponent can deal with. So, or if you're playing things that affect the board. So for them, like, they don't want me to Ragavan hit into like a Thoughtseize or a Psychic Frog or something like that. So a lot of times it makes more sense to go for the Surveil to try to put something dead on top. If you're playing a deck that doesn't really care what the Ragavan hits, then yeah, it's probably better to try to set up your next draw. Hallowed Fountain. Apt. Ephemerate, target, Quantum Riddler. Guess it's just a 6/6 junkie in me. Very fair. Nice. Namor! We got Spellbomb, Kaito, Mystical Disputes. We'll put like a maybe on the Harbinger and a couple consigns. Things I do not like. Force Negation's pretty mid. I can board out some number of Fatal Pushes. I would just board out like another Force, a Shoal. Not bring in Harbinger on the draw. Call it a day. Actually, I don't think I like Consign. Keep in a couple Forces over Consigns. But yeah, like, it can be absolutely backbreaking. Even the first copy of Lorien has seemed kind of bad. Yeah, I really wish it was just another actual land. But Ragavan can be pretty backbreaking when you're in these spots where it's not just making treasures, where it's like actively getting that card draw mode because they're getting to cast stuff off of your library. Because I think that's like why Ragavan was so heavily in that ban discussion early on, is because every time it hit you, it was like make a treasure and exile a Dragon's Rage Channeler or a Bauble or a Consider or Expressive Iteration or something off of your opponent's library. and all of those were just like phenomenal cards to cast. So Ragavan was basically always hit you and draw one and make a mana for 1 mana on a threat. And then it got worse and worse, like the farther we strayed from that. Psychic Frog. So obviously I would prefer to just Fatal Push this. If they already have Atraxa in hand and can freely discard it, it's a little unfortunate. I'm going to go Undercity. Draw. We play Steam Vents, pass turn, Fatal Push on their upkeep. Can't force a negation me. Do have the Atraxa already. It wouldn't be a Goryo's match with me if they didn't have the Atraxa. Quantum Riddler. Try to fight over that. A 2-mana spell would have been, 2-mana blue spell would have been really fire right there. All right, come on. No land drop to fairy. No land drop to fairy. I don't think I'm ever dashing here. Need this Disrupting Shoal for 2. They do nothing. They just have a bunch of Solitudes. See if that resolves. If this resolves, I dash Ragavan. It does not resolve, so I think I'm dashing Ragavan anyway. Since they're spending a bunch of mana on that force. Like that. That would be really good if we had another mana. That's the kind of thing you don't want to see your opponent flip over to a Ragavan. Big moment of truth turn. Diot Gaming, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. Greatly appreciate it. Welcome to the subscribers. Quantum Riddler, you say? Sounds like a worthwhile subtlety target. Are they going to consign the subtlety trigger? Put Quantum Riddler on top. Barry? Frog. Frog, 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 frog. Ugh. Ragavan, you're such a bad top deck. You're just not being such. All right, opponent, buy my bluff that my last card is a counter spell. Even though if I had a counter spell, I 100% would have countered the frog. Just gotten in with the Ragavan. Mousestick, thanks so much for the Twitch Prime sub as well. A 2-month resub. Greatly appreciate it. Welcome back to the subscribers. Always a pleasure to follow you, your content, and advice. Well, I'm glad my content can be somewhat appreciated some amount of the time. They're going to attack him with this frog. They are. Are going to jump it. Turn too late, counterspell. Turn too late. Let's see what they do. Maybe we can find some places to interact, get some Namor tokens. Maybe they discard down to draw more off the Riddler. Do not. Give me a chance to counter something. I want to see Hardcast Solitude. Hardcast Solitude. I counterspell it. They spell snare. I Disrupting Shoal. Untap. Draw a Kaito. Trying to Atraxa. Attacking with both is bold. I would attack with this frog. I don't think I would ever attack with a Riddler here. I think this is like 100% how you take yourself from an extremely good position to potentially losing by attacking with this Riddler. I have to attack. I'm dead on the backswing. But I get a hit in with Ragavan, so I could maybe find a removal spell. Prismatic Ending, Teferi, Fatal Push. They have a removal spell. What do you have that kills Namor? You have nothing that kills Namor. You don't have Revolt for Fatal Push. I don't know. Namor. Namor does Namor things, I guess. Opponent didn't feel like reading the card. Or, you know what probably happened? I would bet you $100 this is what happened. Opponent clicked OK to go to blocks before jumping the frog. And once you click OK to go to blocks, you don't have an opportunity over there or opportunity to fly the frog anymore. So he probably clicked OK and it doesn't give you an opportunity to fly the frog after that. So he could only block the Ragavan. Either that or he didn't know the Namor had flying. I'd be willing to bet $100 one of those two things happened. Either didn't know the Namor had flying or clicked OK to go to blocks and either forgot or didn't realize he wouldn't have a chance to fly the frog after that. So I will say if it was if he clicked OK or if they clicked OK and went to blocks, I would feel bad about that win. Didn't see the tiny wings on his ankles. Okay. I was trying to figure out if it was the flying and you just like didn't click to jump the frog before going to blocks, or you didn't know that it had flying and just didn't block because you thought you'd be able to block afterwards. I clicked OK and couldn't fly. That was the exact reason that I said to chat is probably clicked OK and it just didn't give you the opportunity to fly after that. I've done that before myself. I have been there. I understand the pain. To be fair, why does Namor have flying? Yeah, because he has wings on his feet. They're right there. Plain and simple for everybody to see. You could argue that the wings on his feet take up as much of the text box as saying flying. Yeah, GG's for sure. It was a very good match. Very cool. He is like Hermes indeed. But in the Black Panther movie, he flies around in the air thanks to those tiny little wings. So there you go. But either way, back-to-back 4-1s with Grixis Namor. pretty sick. He flies in the comics. There you go. I didn't know. I never read a Namor comic. Back-to-back 4-1s with Grixis Namor. I think this list was pretty sweet. Wei Jin, thank you so much for the follow. GG's as well. Deck was super sweet. The Ragavans were a really nice addition. We didn't see any affinity, so no idea how the Meltdowns would do. Fire Magic, a little bit awkward with Ragavan, but I don't really think there's a replacement for it. But if somebody does come up with one, I'd love to hear it. Little susceptible to big stuff. Like, that's what the counter spells and subtleties and stuff should be for, but just still kind of rough.